you focus on, prioritize. Everybody has their own operation. Farming, you may be doing different livestock, just whatever it is, we want to have a way for you to get the most you can out of your calves each and every year. That may change each year, so that way you know which programs may suit you better for each year, and maybe next year will be something different. So, this is a quick overview. So we have our Mid-Atlantic cattle sales, which focuses primarily on our truckload sales, our stockyard there in Norwood at Stanley County Livestock Market, and our stockyard in Turnersburg, Harwood Brothers Livestock Market. So any of these programs affiliated with just any of these, let us know. They pretty much go interchangeably with each operation. So many of you know the market is high right now, which is a great thing for all of us. Definitely helps make our jobs easier, and hopefully is, putting a lot of money in your pockets. But on top of that, we still want to be able to get the most value we can out of these calves. And so tonight we just want to talk about how can we take the most advantage of the prices, because it's real easy to see the price right now, want to just round them all up and bring them on into the barn at $3 calves, when you're seeing 3-4 weights at over $3. But we still think that using these programs and being able to wean your calves or get some vaccinations in them are going to prove so much better towards the end of this year or this summer whenever you're marketing calves. So in general, we see, what are the important things going in when we're marketing calves? Something that I feel like we all know is a good calf is going to sell well no matter what. No matter what you put in it, just having good genetics, having good quality cattle, our buyers want those kind of cattle. So having good genetics, getting those bulls cut, obviously that's number one. A lot of these are kind of the basics of it. Many of you in this room are already doing these things, so it's preaching to the choir, I know, in here, but maybe it's something you can take to your neighbor or someone else that's asking these questions of how do I get more for my calves? Because, like I said, most people in this room are doing these things. But you can kind of see some of the things that we see. A big thing comes to uniformity, and that's what we kind of talk on and want to talk more about is how we get our calves grouped up together to get the most we can out of them. So whether you're selling a truckload lot, a feeder calf program, a weekly sale, or a MACVAC program, a big thing is just getting them uniform. And so we definitely see when we're grouping up cattle, whether we're selling a weekly sale, a MACVAC sale, that the group cattle, the bigger groups you can get, the better off they do. So you can bring 5 head in. If they all group up well together, those 5 head, will sell well. If they're heifers, steers, whatever they may be, just getting them together. Same thing for truckload sales. That is the more you can put together and put in a package deal does really well for many of our buyers. That's what, they're looking for. They can keep those cattle together and keep them moving on down the line. So again, we talked about what are our different options. So we're kind of it's like a stair step level if you'll stick with me as we go through it. Kind of here on our first step, you're going to have just our weekly stockyard sales, which we all have something that maybe it's a sort off. Maybe that's not your first avenue, but we all have something that, we're going to put through, and that's why we're there every week. So we encourage you to come because we're there every week. So we'll be more than happy to get those calves sold through there. Cull cows, interested in selling any cow-calf pairs, bred cows, those types of programs, in addition to feeder calves. Give us a call. Ever need any hauling or help with anything, feel free to reach out to me. Dad, Will, we do a lot of the hauling aspect as well to try to offer those services to our customers bringing cattle into the barns. Yep, so also we still have some value-added options for those calves as well. If you do bring in calves that maybe you can't hit one of the markets or the time frames that we have those, specific sales, feel free to let us know, hey, I'm bringing in some group calves, and we'll definitely, group them up, keep them together, let them know if they've been weaned, had any shots, anything like that. Like I said, just to get you as much as we can out of those calves. So I'll take a few minutes to just talk about the MACVAC program, being that this is the newest program that we have, and maybe some are familiar with, maybe some are not as familiar with. The term MACVAC program, I know sometimes people come in and say they're MACVAC calves, but they may not necessarily have all the protocol that we put in place. And basically that's so that people who are getting the tags, who are doing everything up front, are given the priority on the sale that day. So you can say they come in and they are weaned in shots, we kind of classify, I guess, the MACVAC calves as those that have the tag in their ear. We group them all up and keep them together and sell them at the beginning of a weekly sale. So the MACVAC program is at both the Turnersburg Stockyard and the Norwood Stockyard. We like to highlight these sales on the second week of each month, but we will sell them any week of the year. But our goal is to highlight them on those specific weeks so that way we can get as many calves in there as possible. We'll keep each producer's calves by themselves so that way we can let the buyers know if they've been weaned or not weaned, because you do not have to have weaned cattle. This is an avenue for the non-weaned cattle that have had at least one round of vaccinations in wormer. And so those vaccinations do include a modified live with a pastorella, blackleg, and then a wormer. And so this avenue hopefully would help any producers that are looking, they don't want to wean the calves, they want to go ahead and bring them in, but they have done a little bit of work up front, to get those calves vaccinated prior to coming to sale. And so we'll sell them at the beginning of the sale, group them up. But like I said, the more calves we have on one day, we let those buyers know, hey, we're going to have 200 plus calves in here. And we typically can get quite a few more buyers to come in when they know they have that kind of quantity to be able to look through and get a full truck on and go ahead and get those calves out of there that day. So we really are, enjoying seeing these calves come through the MACVAC program. There's some of the requirements up there. I know I kind of sped through that. It is steer and heifers only, some of the vaccination protocol. Any of this can be found at the norwoodfeedercalf.com as well for all of our sales. And there'll be a form on there as well that you can go through and fill out and let us know what they've had and a little more information about the calves that we do ask you to bring whenever you bring the calves in, or you're welcome to fill out when you get to the barn. So any questions on the MACVAC program? Okay. Well, we'll keep going through the graded feeder calf sales. So again, this has been a long-standing program here in the state, but definitely now I think we're the only barn now that is still doing the graded feeder calf program. And we really enjoy, being able to put this together with our 5 sales each year. We will be sticking with the same similar schedule this year. We had one just last week for the month of March, and then we'll be having our June sale, August sale, September, and November. And so we've seen, we'll average usually 1,000 to 1,400 head each sale. So until we see those numbers grow out of those sales, we're going to probably keep that same schedule. And it's seemed to work well with that time of year. And so we really see a lot of activity with this as far as buyers. They come in, get on a conference call. I believe last year we had one we were able to put through on DB auction to be able to get more buyers, again, as many as we can get there, to be able to get them on the phone, online, or in person at the sale. So for those, don't know, when you come in, your calves, we grade them, weigh them as fast as we can, as quick as they come in. And so an advantage to the program, even compared to, MACVAC or weekly sale, is they are getting weighed, graded, hopefully 30 minutes of arriving. If we get backed up, it might be a little longer, but we definitely try to get them through as quick as we can. And a really good advantage that I see to the feeder calf program is, let's say that your calves are not as uniform as you would like them to be. That's something you're working towards, as we talked about. The great advantage to this program is when they come, they're graded one by one. They go into a group, of like-kinded cattle. So where you may have had a single calf, it didn't group up with anything on a weekly sale. In this program, it's going into a pen that they're going to be able to sell as a group. So you're going to get that truckload price. You're going to be able to get the big group price, even if you only have one head. And so that's something that really works well with the graded feeder calf program. Again, the requirements, just kind of the next stair up, is we're going to have a 60-day wean with 2 rounds of vaccinations. And so we've had a lot of feedback from going from the 45-day to the 60-day. And so we will, plan to keep going forward with the 60-day wean. We just had a lot of buyers, appreciate that change there, trying to get those calves immunity built up and just get them better on the other side. So here's some of the numbers from 2023. You can see those sales. The June sale continues to be a big sale, so definitely, I know I've already had some people call in and wanting to get some tags. I do have some tags here tonight as well for anybody that wants to go ahead and consign and start getting on the consignment list for these sales, because we do see them fill up fast, which we are grateful for. I'd say a big thing too that I did want to mention for people doing consignments, if you were to say get 50 tags and you plan to sell them in June, that is great. We'll put them on the list. If you were to say they start growing, they're not growing as fast, and you want to hold 20 until the August sale, that's completely fine. Just give one of us a call and let us know, because the sales do fill up, and they have been filling up for the past couple of years, that sometimes we like to be able to lot those tags if someone else is wanting to bring some and we're getting close to our cutoff point, so we can try to let someone else get, that extra 20 calves in there, and just to kind of accommodate everybody as best we can, because we definitely want to get everybody in the sale, but we can only take so many, especially when it gets hot. If it's a 90-degree day in June, the barn is only so big. I wish it was bigger, but it's only so big. So we definitely want to keep those calves, as well managed as we can, make sure they're all getting the water and shade, and keep them comfortable. So we did see from 22, we had, a little over 700 head more than the year before. So we definitely see the program growing, and thank each and all of you for bringing those calves in. Brooke may go a little bit more on this in a bit, but she's definitely the one to talk to more for your truckload sales. And any of us are more than happy to come out and take a look at your calves. If you're looking at, hey, maybe I think I have enough calves to make a truckload, we do that sale twice a month, the first and third Tuesday of each month. We would ask that you give us a call at least a week, if not a few more weeks ahead of time. We can get out there, get a video of the calves, take a look, and see what you think you're going to have. A little thing I would say on the truckloads is it is a little more work up front, but it definitely, I would say, would pay off most of the time on the other side. So we've had some customers, if they've been the feeder calf program customers that transition to a truckload customer, notice that you need to get those weights up front, so you know what kind of base weight you need to be selling, trying to know exactly what head counts you're going to have, what kind of weight spread we're going to have on these, and so that way you can be able to put the most uniform truckload you have together. So that's something we're more than happy to help you with if you're looking to transition to a truckload, or obviously in many truckload customers in here, we'd love to continue helping you market those cattle full loads or both steer and heifer loads. So feel free to ask any questions about those, me, Brooke. I know we have a few other reps in here. Chuck's here tonight. Chuck Doolittle. Do you want to stand, Chuck? No. For a lot of people in the North Carolina, South Carolina region, Chuck is in one of those areas. Dad, let's see, who else is here? Bruce is here. Sorry, Bruce. He's hiding behind the pole there. Bruce Schenkel, that many of you know Bruce through the either feeder calf or truckload sale, or many ways selling bulls, but Bruce helped you. And then we have some reps that are not here, but you can find those if you'd like in the pamphlet for whichever area you're in. We try to have someone in each and every area to try to get to you as quickly as we can to get those videos and get them on the sale. This goes a little more on, you have a little more, I would say, lenience on what you want to do as a producer yourself. So if the feeder calf program doesn't work for you and you're looking at maybe going through a truckload option, you can kind of set the parameters of your weaning and your vaccinations. But we would recommend to kind of stay on the same route, as we just see that being what a lot of buyers are looking for. And then I just want to do real quick, I was going to do an example of kind of, many people are weaning. Some people decide, hey, with these prices, I kind of just want to get rid of them. I'm ready for them to go. I don't want to feed them. Feed prices are high. And we definitely know that. We definitely understand feed prices are high. Lots of things are high to put that cost in. So some variables to consider, whenever you're looking at weaning, these are a few things just a couple things. There's definitely much more variables to it. But the basics, just an example of what we've seen with a market right now. If you use just the March market, as we've seen this past week and our feeder sale last week, if you were to wean a calf, we're just going to take out commission, take out that first round of vaccine, anything like that. Just what's in addition to doing, a weaned calf versus a non-weaned program. At a 290, 550 pound steer, $15.95 would be what they were bringing this week. I'm going to include yardage as labor to feed the calf, a place to hold the calf, whatever it may be, a few costs there. For 60 days, $30 per calf. If you were to feed a 300-ton feed and you were just to feed 10 to 14 pounds, I know there could be some hay costs in there, grass costs in there, kind of hard to quantify all of that, but just these basic costs, an additional round would be almost $160 of additional cost to wean that calf and get it to the graded feeder sale. If they were to gain 2 pounds a day, hopefully you're getting more. Middle of summertime, those calves might go back a little bit. They might jump forward. Heifers may not gain as much. So let's just, for the sake of it, we'll do 2 pounds a day. If you were to get that with the price last week of a 670-pound steer at $287, you can see the price there at a little over $1,900. That minus your cost, minus that, we're looking at almost $170 more per head just on basic math. Like I said, this is nothing crazy. I'm sure there's a lot more you could put into it. You may have less cost, you may have more cost, but that's just kind of what an average is if you look at what you think it's going to take you to get that calf weaned. And then if that's worth it or not worth it to you and your operation to be able, however many calves you have. So that's the way we see it as, we want to get the most we can out of them. And we definitely see, even with these high prices right now, trying to see what it's going to look like 60 days from now, or even in a better market come early summer or late summer. With that, we'll let Brooke come up and she's going to give us just a quick breakdown of some of the prices we saw last year in 23 for the comparison between the 4 marketing options, and let her finish up. And then we'll have Dad talk. So.
I'll be real quick because y'all have already heard me talk. We'll get to Dad. This is just a little bit, like I said, we like to talk about kind of how 2023 went before we look at 2024. And Catherine just told you all the different options that we recommend for marketing your feeder cattle and kind of seeing which one pays off for you and what you can do. So this example right here, I'll try to explain it for everyone over here, is the June 2023 prices. And what I did was we took the weekly sales at, I think this one was just Norwood, the MacBack sale at Norwood, and then the graded feeder calf sale and the video sales. Those were all in June. The weekly sales and like the graded sale and MacBack sale were actually within a 2-week period. The June feeder calf sale were both of our June sales to get a more comparable average. So on this, if you can see, again, we look at the price per pound and the price per head. So comparatively, from when we compare the weekly sales to the MacBack sale, and again, the MacBack sale, it did have a combination of vaccinated cattle one time and some weaned cattle, but most of the cattle were not weaned. We looked at, you got 18 cents more from just the weekly sale using that MacBack program. And again, we did just the 6 and 7 weight steers for this comparison for our purposes, and we took the average. So 18 cents more between the weekly sales and the MacBack sale. Then there was a 15-cent difference between the MacBack sale and the graded feeder calf sale. And then a 13-cent difference between the graded sale and the video sale. So then the form that I really like is the dollars per head. Like Catherine just showed, the cost of getting that calf from an unweaned calf to a weaned 60-day calf. The total dollars per head is what that cost is going to look for you. So I want to know what the cost per head is. I'm getting more, not just the cents per pound. Between the weekly sale and the MacBack sale, it was about $50 more. So don't think your vaccines are going to cost you $50, per head. So we do think it pays off to vaccinate those cattle and put them in that MacBack sale. But then even more impressively, between the MacBack sale and the graded feeder calf sale, there was $150 more per head for that cost that we saw. What did you have on your cost for? Right, so about 170 that she had is what we're seeing for the difference between that last June. And then there was just about a $70 difference between the graded sale and the video sale. So we know a lot of people, like we were talking about, really want to shoot for that video sale, put them on a board sale. And there's added advantages of that. As far as you get to weigh the cattle, at your house, you don't have the added freight cost of hauling them to a barn. However, you look at that $70 more per head, and you also have to think about, well, those were truckload lots. Most of those truckload lots are going to be uniform cattle. They were all steer loads. They were cattle within 150-pound variance, and most of them are going to be 85 to 90% black. And those calves, like I said, that 150-pound variance also means they were most likely born within a very similar time frame. So, you're looking at, okay, well, I don't have that. I could do a partial load. I've got 35 or 40 steers with that. That's great. And again, if you can't get them to that feeder calf sale, you want to try a partial load, that's great. I don't think you're going to get the $70 more. You're going to be able to put all of those cattle into that feeder calf sale to get those average and create that uniformity. So that's one thing we want to note, that there is those added dollars to the video sale. You get a little added weight. They might not shrink quite as much, but that's also on average at least 70 head that you have in that uniform lot. Another thing to note, if you've never looked at the MacBack sale, the weekly sale to the graded sale was an average of about $200 per head more. So if you've always sold on a weekly sale and you're comparing, trying to do maybe the graded sale, that was about $200 more a head. The next one we have is August and July of 2023. I don't have the exact MacBack results for this sale, but we do have the weekly sale compared to the graded and video sale. From a weekly sale to a graded sale, we saw a 37-cent difference. And actually, last year from the graded sale to the video sale, there was only about a $6 per pound difference between that graded sale and the video sale. And I would just like to say that graded sale did really well. So that was part of it. Again, the dollars per head between a weekly sale and a graded sale, whereas in the last slide, it was about $200 more a head. On this slide, it's about $265 more per head, going from a weekly sale to a graded sale. And again, just that $70 to $75 difference per head from a graded sale to a video sale on this average. So again, I think that graded sale is what really helps bring those calves in and sell them. So kind of that's just a graph of how it went last year in 2023, a few of the prices. Obviously, we saw the high prices that summer, and then the big drop coming in November and December. We will just say this is kind of a plug, not intentionally, for the LRP insurance. When Dad was talking about what we were going to insure all our cattle this year, is we sold right around that November 20th mark. So if we had insured the cattle earlier that year before that big 30-cent price drop, it would have helped. But so that's what we're looking at 2023. Obviously, prices were high. They kind of dropped later in the year. But you can see towards the end of the year, they started coming back. And if you've looked at any of the prices this year, they had started coming back this year as well. 2024 expectations. This is basically just going off of, for my part of it, what CattleFax has recommended and some of our findings. Dad's going to talk about it a little bit more in just a couple of minutes. So again, it says in perspective, in 2020, we were looking at a 550-pound steer across the U.S. averaging $1.60. And in 2024, it's expected to average $2.90. So clearly, we are in a good place as far as all that. However, again, also to note, high prices also mean high volatility. You'll see those wide price ranges. It's important to pay attention to the market and try to do everything you can to capture those higher prices. This year, they were saying back in January, I guess, the 550 steer is expected to average 275 to 320, and the 800 steers 220 to 260. One thing to note is that due to several different factors, everyone was saying, we might not even see the peak prices this year. So, take advantage of what you can now. We also think next year is going to be good, unless, a ship hits another bridge again or something. I don't know. Some kind of worldwide event that happens. That could always be a caveat there for it. But obviously, we do think it's going to be pretty good. This was the graph that they, all credit goes to CattleFax for this graph, as far as prices, where we see the trend remaining up through 2026, if we had to guess right now. And then my last little point, that I really like this graph, again, all credit goes to CattleFax on this graph. If you can see it, if you see this far red square over here, which shows 2014 to 2024, and it shows these different lines here are the portion of the profit per calf that each segment of the industry is estimated to receive. So the green portion is the cow-calf, the blue is the stocker, the red is the fed cattle, and the yellow is the packer. So we can see in 2020 how big the yellow mark is. For those of you that can see it, can't see it, it's very high. We all know, like, so when COVID hit and the years after COVID, obviously, the packer was getting the highest majority of that profit per calf. And as cow-calf producers, we kind of felt slighted. I think that's where all fair to say. What's really encouraging to see is that currently, and what's expected to increase, is the cow-calf portion of that profit per calf. And so just want to say thank you to all the cow-calf producers and stocker producers here for bearing with us through some of the hard years. And hopefully we can enjoy and reap some of the benefits of some of this now. So that's kind of just a quick version of the prices while Dad makes his way up here, of what we kind of saw in 2023, the price differences. If you're interested in any of those numbers, again, just let us know. We can send it to you, or put it back up there in a little bit. But we do appreciate, as I said, we think high prices will happen again this year, and it just depends on which avenue is the best for you, as far as helping you capture that added value for your calves. Want to go ahead and do the door prizes? All right. While he makes his way up here, we're going to do some of the last of the door prizes. Yes, sorry, I guess I should ask that. Yes.
I have a question. So where do the value-added programs fit into the sales? I mean, like, we're considering going back to all natural, but if we do that, is that really advantageous? We've done very well to pick up our sales. So is it advantageous for us, or where is the advantage for us to do those programs?
So for the all-natural programs or anything like that, to be specific, especially the all-natural programs have the most advantage in those truckload sales, or being able to sell them as a group off the farm, or even a group of producers that sell them like that. And they might come to the barn to load out. If we had a feeder calf sale where we could get 700 head of people that were all using the same natural program, to be able to sell at the same time, we would do it and you would still see some benefit. I don't think we're in that spot right now. So that's why if you're interested, even if you can't do a truckload, let us know, and we can even help find producers around you who are interested as well. Like I said, Tim is a part of the Catawba Cattlemen's Group. That's what they do. They have producers everywhere from 10 head to 50 head that are a part of that, and they're able to sell in those truckload lots. And then most of those guys, if they have anything left over, they send like to the feeder calf sale or something like that.
That's what I needed.
Yeah. Any other questions? Sorry. All right. Now we're going to do door prizes. All right. First up, we'll do the coffee mug and a koozie. All right. If you got your ticket, it is $67.40. $67.40. You take it over. All right. Next up, we'll do the Contigo tumbler. $67.68. There you go. Do the red coffee mug. $67.54. Good job. You're doing a great job. Yeah, well, we'll do the lunchbox next. The Carhartt lunchbox is $67.88. There you go.
It works well for medicine too.
Yeah, we used it for medicine a lot this winter. All right, first, the sorting sticks are from First Bank and Trust, Mr. Everett Johnson. First up is $68.19. We're taking that one, the same thing. And the next one, I think it's our last one, is 6766. There you go. All right. Before Dad starts talking, if anyone's interested in those programs as well, we've got handouts back there. Feel free to talk with us. And I'll say a couple things. I don't know. I'll say a couple things at the end too, okay?
You want to say something?
At the end before you leave. You got the floor.
I got my bucket. I want to thank everybody for here. I want to thank a few people, especially my family. I'm very blessed to have some children that can do this without their daddy. So I like to give Kat, Brooke, Maddie and Marcy and my wife a hand because they put all this together. I did not. And before I preach, I am going to preach. We mentioned Chuck Doodle just came on with us as a contractor, so call him if he can help you. Also Bruce, but there's two guys in here I want to recognize that's helped me a lot through the years, and that would be Bruce Shankle and Shaw, Mr. Frank Simpson. I do appreciate if I have a problem, I can call one of them. They will set me straight. Bruce he keeps me in the box. Now Frank takes me outside the box, and I do appreciate both of them for what they've done for me, and I can always call them. I do appreciate that. All I got to do say is I got this bucket here, and I got a good friend lives up in Lawsonville, Mark Bray, and he said everybody needs a bucket to go to their farm, and I agree with them. And because you got to watch your cattle. You can't watch your cattle out of a truck. You need to walk your cattle. You need to take a bucket out there and let your cattle. I guess the best illustration I can go with is I always tell everybody we used to go to a Methodist church, and now we're Baptist. I've been sprinkled and I've been dunked. I've been both ways. So it don't matter what's on the outside. It matters what's on the inside. But anyway, that church, we had a man, and he gave every child a piece of chewing gum. No matter who that child was, every Sunday morning, every child in that church found that man to get that chewing gum. Same thing with your cows. Just take them a bucket of feed once or twice a week. They will find you. It's a whole lot easier to catch a cow with a bucket of feed than 2 dogs and 2 horses running around the pasture. Use that feed bucket. Best thing in the world. Mark Bray said, when you go out there, hit that thing 3 or 4 times so people will hear you know what it is. But anyway, I brought the bucket for one thing. I started Feeder Calf Sale 1972. Y'all started what, 67, Frank? 1967, the Feeder Calf started. I got involved when I was in high school, about 72, 73. And back then, people, you got to do your homework at home. If you want to make a good grade in the marketing business, do your homework at home. And this is a knife. This is a fancy new knife. You should knife blade. These knives are made for one thing: castrate them, cut them out, and count to 2. Please learn to count to 2 when you cut. Most important thing you can do. Second most important thing you can do. Somebody has stolen. It's in here somewhere. Learn to use how this syringe. Shots pay for themselves. And right now, I know I just sold some 380 pounders Wednesday, brought 365. Guy did nothing. He brought them to the sale barn. He didn't have time, he said, to give them shots. He didn't have time to feed them. They were thin and they were hard. And Grass Boys right now for the next 3 to 4 weeks are going to give everything in the world. When the Grass Boys are done, they would give nothing for those thin calves with no shots because they're going to get sick wherever they go. Right now, they're begging for them. 3 or 4 weeks from now, they won't be begging for them. You'll be begging for a better price. Them 365s are going to go down. These cattle with shots are going to go up. But you're in and you're out no matter what you do. Shot cattle, weaned cattle will make you more money. Do your homework at home first. You'll get a better grade if you do that. Now, we have moved up to the best syringes, these big pistol grips. I love them because you make time. But anyway, I can't emphasize how about the homework at home, but anyway, I want to say that wean cattle, the bigger the group, 2 rounds of modified live is what we're all looking for. And I promise you, if you bring your cattle to us, we're gonna feed about 30,000 head this year in the feed yard in Nebraska that I'm part of. I will do everything I can to keep them cattle high if they meet those requirements. And I guess, Bruce Schenkel and I got this pet peeve about short cattle, don't we, Bruce? Do you want to say anything about short cattle?
I'll let you say it.
Yeah. I can't feed short cattle and make money. I gotta have a carcass that weighs 850 to 900 pounds to make money. A low 5-frame, 4-frame bull, whatever breed he might be, I can't make him big enough to get on the rail to make money. He's gonna come up weighing 750. I know at one time in the 70s, everybody said 750 was where it was at. We're not in the 70s. We're in 2024 now. We need an 850 to 900 pound carcass. A short bull will not get you there. I will not buy a short calf if you give it to me. I will not feed him because he costs me money. I really think we should be in this part of the world in fescue country from 6 to 7 frame. I love a 6.4, 6.5 frame thick Angus bull or Angus semi bull or Angus Charolais bull. I mean, we use those crosses, but that is where the money's at right now. It might change 10 years from now, but that is exactly where your money's at if you want to sell cattle in North South Carolina on the East Coast. He's got them calves weighing 6 and 7. I know we're selling some $1,200 calves now, boys, for $3. It sounds great. We can run down to the store, tell all them boys at the store that tell you how to grow cattle that have no cattle, I made $3. They say, great, that's what you should be doing. No. You could wean them, you can vaccinate them, get them done, and they're worth $1,800, $1,900 right now. So are you gonna be satisfied with $1,200, or do you want to do a little homework and bring in $1,800, $1,900? I know what your wife is gonna tell you. You know, you go where the money's at, but that's what we're up against right now. Always in the springtime, grass cattle bring the money. Everybody fights for them, and then it's over with. This year, they're gonna run out of money before they run out of cattle. These things are so high, people are already having their Everett. They're gonna run out of money before the cattle get bought. So do your homework at home. Get your bucket and go out there and feed your cattle. And Bruce, I hit anything else? I only got 18 minutes, Catherine said.
Really good. One thing I like.
There you go. There, say it.
All right. These 2 women back here make me go to the doctor. And I have to do what the doctor says because I pay it. Now, these folks are paying you to sell their cattle. So it's just like the doctor. They need to listen to you about them short calves.
Amen. Any other questions? I got one more item in my bucket I'm gonna bring out last. Any questions? Yeah, any questions?
I was talking about how when your church have mine calves with long ears.
Oh, you talking about the Brahma cross cattle, your long ear cattle? If, I think if your home state touches the Gulf of Mexico, you use some Brahma. In this part of the world, the Brahma cattle we send to Nebraska, we can't send a lot of ear cattle to Nebraska in the cold weather. They can't take the cold weather as well because they don't have as much hair. Brahma influenced cattle have a lot of benefits like the longevity. I think in this part of the area, we need to dilute that ear. We don't need to have a lot of ear, but need to dilute that ear down some. We don't need a full Brahma or half Brahma. That's what I think. But you know, if you're a multi-millionaire, you grow whatever you want to grow. That's what I think. Y'all got Brahma cattle?
We got Obi-Wan.
Yeah, the Ultra Blacks is diluted Brangus. If you dilute them one more time, you got what we need.
A few years ago, we had a calf. I don't know what happened to him, but he had some small ears like that.
Right. You don't want a lot of Brahmin influence in this part of the world going to where we're going. But now, like I said, if you touch the Gulf of Mexico, you're going to have some of it. But if you got Ultra Black cattle, that's a diluted Brangus. Dilute it one more time, you've got a pretty good mama cow. I wouldn't mind having 1/16 in all my cows. We just ain't figured out how to get it there yet.
Talk to us.
But I tell you what, that was the best question. You come here, son. Come up here. I'm gonna give you your first syringe.
Thanks.
Thank you. Girls just lost their syringe. But anyway, I'm gonna finish this up. I think Brooke wants to say, I'm gonna pull them. You okay?
I'll put it back up.
I like it when Brian plugs me back up. I'm gonna bring out the most important thing on your farm right now you can have. I hope I get it. In 1961, my parents gave me this, and I try to read it every day, and it's your Bible. People read it. It will make you money. It'll make you a better person. This is the best thing you can do on your farm. That's all I got to say. That's all I'm gonna preach. Any other questions? Brooke, it's all yours. I'm done. You guys gonna preach?
This is the first time you ever got done before.
You need to tell about the council.
Yeah, no, I got this. All right, thank you all again. What?
Typically, we've gotten thanks is, when people are office, y'all come
Oh.
to the school, you'll see Miss Carla a lot, and she'll do a lot more tags and stuff, so I think it's Carla's route, she does commerce as well, as many of Brooke, Megan, our neighbors in office, you'll see Tara a lot as well, so you should see most familiar faces in car whenever y'all come, so I just want to thank them, because they put a lot of hours into it.
And I know we've missed several people we should have been thanking tonight. Thank our extension for helping us set up tonight. Say Kara and Carla and Thomas, wherever Thomas is, Marcy and Maddie. But thank you all for coming. Again, just a couple of housekeeping things. Feel free to take anything on the tables with you would like. Our vendors are still set up, so feel free to visit with them on your way out. Again, we do have a couple of upcoming events. If you're looking to buy any cows, I know we've been talking about selling calves all night, but if you're looking to buy any cows, we do have 3 cow sales coming up. We're going to have about 200 head at each sale, April 13th up at Harwood Brothers Livestock Market, and then down here, April 20th and May 18th at Stanley County Livestock Market. So those are posted on our Max and it'll be on our Stockyard website soon. So if you are wanting to buy any cows. Also coming up next weekend, April 6th, is the spring turnout bull and female sale up in Oxford if you're looking for any bulls. And April 13th as well is the NC State cow sale up in Raleigh if you are looking for any cows to add. Our next graded feeder calf sale will be June 20th. We do have tags available for the graded feeder calf sales and the MAC bag program here tonight if you would like to go ahead and pick up any, or you can pick them up at the stockyard at any point. Does anybody have any last questions before we leave? I think I've answered everything, hopefully. If not, thank you all again for coming. We'll have it again here in March. If you are leaving out the back of the building, you'll see the big barn being built, or the livestock arena. That's supposed to be open in the next month or two, so we should be in that big building next year. So go ahead and put this time of year on your calendars. We'll have a date later. We'll host it again next year, and we hope you all have safe travels home. Thank y'all.